A young girl is introduced in the film's opening scene, who had traveled to a cottage in the jungle with her family for the holidays. A man approached her as she was playing outside and engaged her in conversation. He explains that he has come here for highly essential task after conversing for a while. A project with the potential to save the world. Actually, two friends adopted this young child. Those two pals were very devoted to one another. They were dependent on one another to survive. For them to have a decent life, that is why they adopted this youngster. While conversing with the young girl, the man kept glancing into the bush. Then, three more guys with odd weapons in their hands start to approach. The young child was terrified to see them. She sprints to her cabin, where her two fathers were already there. I have already informed you who they are. She talks about both the man and the individuals who were leaving the jungle. After hearing this, they both get quite frightened. That man had stood up there after leaving with his friends, and commands them to unlock the door. Yet, that child's two fathers were quite frightened to see them, and instruct them to leave the area. But he was also insisting repeatedly that they should let him in because of the significance of his job. He must discuss a topic that is significant to them. Yet both Andrew and Eric were frightened to death. Andrew was even missing his revolver, which was in his unlocked car outside. The fact that the people outside had weapons was the most important factor. Nonetheless, they kept telling them to open the door. But these two keep threatening to contact the police if they don't leave the area. Yet, there was no signal or landline present. The phone wire was also damaged by these individuals, those who kept requesting that they enter. After they ran out of options, they used their weapons to smash the door in and enter. Eric and Andrew assault them. But what was odd was that they weren't being attacked by those folks. Moreover, Eric suffers a head injury during this encounter. One of them, a woman, then assists him. She claims to be a nurse. This proves that he is a guy and that those who were with him did not intend to hurt the others. Eric could remember. And at that point, we learn about Eric's previous life in this country, where he met Andrew's parents for the first time and introduced them. Yet, they did not enjoy their partnership. But they were unable to survive without one another. They split up as a result. They were together today. Well, we are now returning to the current narrative. When Eric regains consciousness, they were restrained by four persons. A young girl, who was also their daughter, was standing next to them. They informed the group of four that we are here to perform essential work. That's when we decided to go this route. Also, a number of challenges are ahead. All three of you will have to sacrifice your lives in order to save others. The four of them now stand as a group and explain their mission and job. I work as a nurse in a city that is far from California, a woman begins. And after exhausting all of my savings, I've turned to you. The second man then reveals when he first met the little girl. He claims that I have a bar and am a teacher. On the third number, their other acquaintance reveals that he is a tiny employee at a gas firm. He used to act improperly and was a very nasty person. He is now okay, though. And he is making an effort to fix his error. The woman then claims that he works as a cook in a hotel on the fourth number. Knowing this, Eric surmises that these folks follow a particular faith. And he has received them here from their father. They had decided to split up after being with him in this way. The leader explains that what they are believing is incorrect to those who first met the girl. We're here for a specific reason. He claims that the world will experience a significant apocalypse. The end of the planet is imminent. Yet, if one of the three of you gives your life, all the impending catastrophes will come to an end. You'll have to take care of this on your own. At your own volition. Nobody can hurt you if you don't allow them to. In other words, you cannot be forced. The leader explains to them that although the four of us did not know one another, we began to dream about these catastrophes. The four of us first met at that point. Because we shared a common set of dreams. Yes, be aware of this. The four of us will perish if one of you doesn't give your life. The world will come to an end at the same time, though. And if you live, there will only be three of you. We're your daughter, you, and the two of you will be. Even if just one of you gives his life, the world will still be saved. In addition, the leader claims that rivers would dry up and that water will spread havoc throughout the planet. Floods will come from every direction. After that, a disease that kills individuals will spread. God will ultimately put an end to this planet. Nevertheless, after hearing all of this, Andrew and Eric no longer hold these beliefs. They also reject giving up their life. The leader warns that if you do this, humanity as a whole will be forced to pay the price. Then his companion, who had a white cloth covering his face, comes forward. According to him, some of humanity has been lost. And with that, his friends turn on him and kill him. Andrew and Eric were frightened after seeing this. Now, we are also shown images of these two's earlier lives, where these two had devotedly adopted their daughter. They are now shown the TV by the leader, in which it was reported in the press that several countries had experienced earthquakes. Many locations had also experienced floods and tsunamis. The result was the deaths of those who lived along the seashore. Andrew continued to have doubts about these claims. Yet Eric began to have some doubts. The previous scenario is then flashed back to the moment their daughter was born. Andrew and Eric were overjoyed. She also began to think of them as her parents, and they were all here to observe the occasion. But they were unaware that this would be their final trip together. So, we're back in the present moment now. Eric's head is bandaged by the nurse, and claims that we had dreams of these catastrophes, all four of us. After that, we convened. And in this place, we have also seen in our dreams how to approach you. A young girl then makes an attempt to flee from this hut. The leader therefore captures her. She is instructed to comprehend what I'm saying by Andrew. Yet, he was revealing to him that your murdered colleague had previously worked at a manufacturing. Long ago, we got into an argument, and I believe he came here to get even with me. The leader claims that I have no idea who he was. Yet he informed us all of these catastrophes. And soon after, we too began dreaming. We are on the correct track right now. All we want to do is halt these catastrophes. Then he orders everyone to take a nap. The chef's wife then feeds the young children. But the young girl discreetly hands Eric a knife and keeps them off task. The time has arrived for another catastrophe, says the former chef. My youngster needs to be saved, who I have repeatedly seen dying in my dreams. You listen to us, people. Still, neither pays attention to them. After then, the woman is dead, which means her family is no more. She didn't want to live right now either. The leader disposes of her corpse outside. They resume watching TV after that, whereby it was stated that an extremely serious illness is spreading. Many people have perished from this illness in numerous locations. One more of their dreams had come true. These are all outdated news, according to Andrew. These individuals are lying, and they are already aware of this information. What will occur and what is expected to occur? Eric, though, began to have some faith in what they were saying. He sensed something here because of the man he had earlier witnessed dying. Like there is some kind of force behind them. These four, in Eric's opinion, are the only ones who arrived to cause havoc over the earth. These four have various abilities. One has the ability to cause a tsunami. The other might bring sickness and conflict. The third is for the food that will spread insects around the globe. This will obliterate all of the food on Earth. The fourth will also bring death. Yet Eric had the incorrect idea about this. In his mind, he had created an odd tale. These four had actually come to halt the destruction. They are diverted by the young girl because of this. She yells out loud. Both Andrew and Eric had spare time. Inside, Eric stops them. Andrew then exits the building to retrieve his gun. He frightens the nurse with the rifle when she approaches him. He goes outdoors to that man's corpse and pulls his ID card out. He was employed by the gas factory. He displays it to the boss. You were misinformed by everything this man said. Even his true name was kept a secret from you. He came here to brainwash you in order to get retribution. The leader, though, doesn't think so. Everything is true, he claims. Andrew shoots the nurse by accident as she approaches him. And in the name of the third humanity, their commander sacrifices her. This individual, in Andrew's opinion, was insane. He is imprisoned in the restroom. The sound of the glass cracking then reaches him, which gave him the impression that he fled. He was there, though. He assaults Andrew and takes his gun away. The news was on TV when they entered the hallway that each aeroplane is crashing into the lake one at a time and are obliterated. Its occupants perished as well. The leader echoed the words of the news that the lady was sharing, that he dreamed that he knew everything. Andrew, though, remained skeptical about everything. Eric, though, began to think these things now, since he saw the death of their first buddy. Suddenly he noticed an odd white light close by. It was now time to assess the next human being. The leader risks his life because of this. The world then experienced dark clouds. Wherever the darkness descended, the light was on at the same moment. One of us will have to make a sacrifice, Eric tells Andrew. We will have to lose one of us. These 4 came to us here to convey a message to us. We must defend mankind. These 4 gave us various teachings. Secondly, how to put a stop to hatred. The second is to love and look after others. The third conveyed the idea of saving people. The fourth one then informed us of all of these details. Why were we selected for this project, asks Andrew. According to Eric, this is due to the love shared between the 3 of us. Furthermore, I ask that you raise our daughter well. That's why I've made the decision to give myself up. Just as he says this, Andrew shoots Eric in the chest. Now, Eric was gone. Andrew exits the cabin carrying his daughter. The lightning also entirely burned down the cabin. In other words, Eric's sacrifice was honored. Andrew notices a car after traveling a short distance, which those 4 individuals owned. For them, they had left it here. He learns about the news when he arrives in town. Something which is miraculous has taken place. The entire damage has ceased on its own. The planes that were damaged have been fixed on their own. Also, the lightning has stopped. Yet, the damage that had been done had not been rectified. They were now forced to live in this planet, which was never going to be as good as it was, because the frequency with which it occurred was unusual. And Eric gave himself up for the white light he mentioned. He had observed Andrew and his daughter in that, where his daughter had developed. He also wasn't with them. He understood that he had to be sacrificed for that reason. We see Andrew and his daughter at the conclusion of the narrative. With her, he had planned to start a new life. The tale of this movie is now complete.